Hey guys, it's Cooper Gretsch here from Kick It to Scoops. I am the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors and results. You want to be part of the show, Kick It to Scoops? Send through your questions through the Facebook link, which I'll attach every show on the post. And if you want to email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com, send through your questions and you may feature on the show and be answered your question from yours truly, Cooper Gretsch, for free. Yes, for free. If you want to be on the show, as I said, send it through and I'll get back to you. Go Saints! Hello everyone and welcome to the very special... I do this with me cameos too. Once I start, I'm good. It's always a start. Hello everyone and welcome to the very special second edition of Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rooms and results. And do I have a big show for you guys today? And I mean a big show. I have a very, very special guest, which I've alluded to on my Facebook page. The universe boss of the West Indian cricket team. None other than the universe boss. Yes, universe boss, Chris Henry Gale. And now, yes, thank you, guys. Yeah, I know, very big guest is the universe boss. And I spoke exclusively to the one and only universe boss, Chris Gale, a couple of days ago. And here's what he had to say.
Okay, peeps. I'm going to give a big shout out to Cooper Podcast. Obviously, Cooper got his podcast, so I want you guys to go and check it out and, watch his podcast. It's called Kick It to Scoop. All right. I hope I get it right, Cooper. Kick It to Scoops, right? And please like his Facebook page, AFL Information, Trade Rumors. All right. Go Saints. I guess that's your team, right? Go Saints. So Cooper Duper, have a fantastic one, mate. And, we'll be in touch again. All right. So thanks again. Much love and appreciate it. Thank you so much. So people go and check out Cooper Podcast and, like his Facebook page. I'm sure you want me to like your Facebook page as well, right, Cooper? Okay, I'll give it a little click. So guys, not even guys, but Cooper, thanks again. Blessed. One love, Universe Boss. Cheers.
Thank you, Universe Boss. Yes, I exclusively spoke to the Universe Boss a couple of days ago, and very appreciative of Chris for introducing himself to our audience. Yes, people want to say it's not a cricket podcast. No, it's not a cricket podcast. But when the opportunity arises to get the Universe Boss on the show, you take it 100% of the time. So also on the show today, going to introduce some of the segments we have today. The Rolling All Australian team after round 10 will be on. Yes, I want to mention too, guys, it's a very blustery, windy day today while we're recording, so apologies if the sound isn't as great as it was last week, but we are trying our best at that. Also on the show today, I'm going to have a merch tease. I'm going to have a Rolling All Australian team. We're going to have our famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. We're going to talk about the games that have just gone and preview some of the games coming up in round 11. And some questions from you, the people of the fans of AFL information, trade rumors, and results. Let's kick it off with a very special announcement. There's a merch coming. There is merch in the works for my show, Kick It to Scoops. I'm not going to reveal what type of merch, what's going to be on the merch. It's all in the works. And when it's come out publicly, you guys will very much enjoy it and hope you guys will purchase some. And also, while I'm talking about purchasing things, I'll give a quick plug because apparently I do it too much. So I'm going to keep doing it throughout the show today. If not, I will be mentioning it at least now. Cameo. You want me on Cameo? Visit cameo.com/CooperG. Put in your request and I'll happily answer your questions. And of course, did I say the price? No, I didn't say the price. The base price is around $25, but it will linger around that $25 mark. Before people complaining I want discount, I think $25 USD, is in US dollars, is cheap enough. Now, I'm going to go through the Rolling All Australian team, my Rolling All Australian team, which was heavily debated on the show and through the comments of this YouTube video last week. So I'm going to go through there's a few changes, but we'll go through the team first. From the back half, we got Jake Lloyd and Isaac Cumming is the back pocket. So Jake Lloyd's obviously in terrific form for the Swans. Been underrated this year. Not as best as previous seasons, but he's still having a very good season nonetheless and has to be included. Isaac Cumming from the Giants, playing halfback, averaging over 23 touches this year. As I said last week, should be winning their BNF, if not in the top 3. And he deserves his spot in the pocket. And fullback, I got Sam Collins from the Gold Coast Suns, still having a great year. Been a rock solid since he joined the Gold Coast from Werribee in the VFL and the Dockers before that. He played his 50th game on the weekend, and Sam Collins had a great start to his AFL career, or restart to his AFL career at the Gold Coast Suns. A halfback line, I have Jack Zeeble and Daniel Rich, who's unchanged from last week. They're both in great form. And his centre halfback, I've got Darcy Moore, who had a great game on the weekend with 25 disposals and over 10 marks. Darcy Moore's in great form. How many more games can he do it for? We'll wait and see. I hope you guys got them. So we'll move on to the wingers. I've still got Sam Walsh and Ollie Wines. Obviously, both are in very great form, but we'll have to keep them there. And Jack Steele's a man of steel. Another great game on the weekend for Saints. So he stays in the centre. At half forwards, I've still got David Mundy. Matty Taberner has been pushed out of the start. No, he's been pushed into the pocket. Take that back. So David Mundy is in the half forward line, along with a new person on the half forward line, rather. From the interchange, we moved up. Toy Camilla from the Gold Coast Suns. Yes, I know he's inside mid, but his form is terrific, averaging over 30 touches this year. It's hard to ignore his form, and his promotion from the bench to the half forward line is well deserved. And obviously, his teammate from the Gold Coast Suns, Ben King at centre half forward, who's still having great games. The Gold Coast might be having a few, on and off games, but he's still in great form nonetheless, so he deserves that spot at centre half forward. In the pockets, Matty Taberner from the Dockers just moved positionally, and Jack Dallin keeps his spot. And Harry Mackay, who's leading the Coleman at the moment, is at full forward. You could have a thought for Josh Bruce, who has good form on the weekend against the Saints, kicking 3. He's on 30 goals for the season so far after 10 rounds. But Bruce is close and in contention. The ruckman still is the heavily debated, according to people in the comments and on my Facebook page, Brodie Grundy. He is still the star ruckman of the competition. Yes, Max Gawn's had a good year. Tom Hickey's had a good year. Paddy Ryder's had a good year when he's come back. But Brodie Grundy, people got to keep in mind, it's a rolling All-Australian team. It could easily change. And, most importantly, it's the individual that does well. It doesn't matter how Collingwood's going. It's how Brodie Grundy's going. And he's got multiple games where he's had over 20 disposals, kicked a couple of goals a game like he did on the weekend against the Power, and he's still dominating in the ruck against the individual in the game they play in. So Brodie Grundy does deserve his spot in the team and as a starting ruckman, whether any of you like it or not. And I'm not a Pies fan, as you know, so it's not biased. And even if I was a Collingwood fan, I just gave you the facts. Take it or leave it. The Rovers in the middle are still Jackson McRae from the Bulldogs, who are having a great year, had 41 on the weekend, and Tom Mitchell, who had 44 on the weekend. And also, you might think this is a Scoops Goes Bang, but it's not. For the people who are criticising Tom Mitchell, he won a Brownlow not too long ago, for God's sake. He's clearly a great player. He's having a great season. Just like Jackson McRae, they're similar players. They both rack up the ball. First of all, you've got to be good to get the ball that many times, and they do impact the games. They may not impact it as much as some, but they still impact the game nonetheless. So quit the complaining about Tommy Mitchell. Thank you. And on the interchange, we have this from the Swannies, Luke Parker and Tom Hickey, both in great form. Clayton Oliver, who's in the team on the bench at the moment. He's pushing for a spot in the starting midfield, but it's hard to get him when McRae, Tom Mitchell, Steele, Wines, and Walsh are in the team. And Callum Mills is the second inclusion, along with Clayton Oliver, into my team. He's having a great year. He was in at the start of the year. I took him out for a few weeks, but now he's straight back in. And the players that have gone out are Toby Green, who's obviously out for a month with an injury, and Cam Guthrie, who's got an AC joint shoulder injury, could be out for up to 4 weeks. So that's the only reason why he's out of the team. But if he plays in a few weeks, he'll probably get straight back in after that. So that is the rolling All-Australian team for mine after round 10. Hope you guys enjoy that. Again, leave a comment down below in the YouTube video attached or on the Facebook post and leave your thoughts on the All-Australian team, which a lot of you do. The next segment, which is probably the most famous segment on this show after one episode, and please welcome... That's right. It's Scoops Goes Bang. Now, the few things I want to mention on Scoops Goes Bang, there are two today, not three, not one, but two. The first one is the umpiring on the weekend. The umpiring is utterly ridiculous. Not talking about the St Kilda game, well, that was one of the games where the umpiring was poor. The game in Adelaide was poor. The umpiring in general, not just this round just gone, but the whole season has been absolutely garbage. The umpiring fraternity needs to be changed. The umpires, they're saying they're low on umpires, which is fair enough. But you just like footy clubs, they have to drop players that are out of form, whether there's good players in the reserves or not. You've just got to drop them. Andrew Stevens, number 12, he's an awful umpire. St Kilda fans will know how bad he is. There's a lot of bad umpires going around at the moment. But they've got to be dropped. If you look at the standard of the VFL umpiring, that is just as bad. But you're just going to have to bring someone from the VFL in because these umpires in the AFL are not up to it, especially Andrew Stevens. Reese Matheson. Thank you. Reese Matheson. The barometer. You know what? Who called him the barometer? Find out right now.
Mate, I just try to... I feel like I'm a barometer for this team, so I just try to get the boys up and about, and that's the way I like to play.
Reese, barometer, you say. You might have started this last few weeks pretty well, but just keep in mind, mate, you've been playing knee full it was at the time, the last few years, so you're from Bell Park. That doesn't mean anything, but I thought I'd mention that. Shout out to Bell Park people. Reese, mate, you only just got back in the side, performing okay, but you could easily find yourself straight back out of the team in a few weeks, so barometer, probably should use a different word, but he did have a solid game on the weekend. That's the second edition of Scoops Goes Bang. So the next...
Well, it was actually a perfect tackle.
I think it is as well.
He twisted him.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate accident.
I think what happens is he grabs his arm, and there's no way that Mitch Duncan can protect himself.
No. Especially when you try and release the kick.
Yeah.
Yes, there was, of course, one more. So I did end up having three editions of Scoops Goes Bang, 3 segments. We got, I don't even know what to call it, but we had 3 things to talk about. This is the third and final one we're going to talk about in Scoops Goes Bang. Yeah, the match review officer, Michael Christian, unbelievable, mate. I know you may be going through your guidelines. The guidelines need to be changed. The interpretation of the suspensions and the acts that are happening are crap. They are literally garbage, okay? Mitch Duncan unfortunately got concussed, which you never want to see anyone get concussed. How Nick Coleman from the Goggles got 2 weeks for a tackle, come from behind tackle, is, what's the word I can use? We might have to do the bleep his button soon. It is shit. It is absolutely bull. I cannot believe it. Is unbelievable. How Nick Coleman got 2 weeks for that is unbelievable. That is so unfair. They're appealing it, and so they should, and he deserves to get off and play this week for the Goggles. That is ridiculous. The next one is not just Mitch Duncan, it's a Marlon Pickett one with Richmond on Brisbane. Marlon Pickett deserved a week. Plain and simple, Richmond fans. They're appealing it. Don't know why. Tim, as I mentioned last week, lost a sook about the umpiring and where they're playing at Marvel or not at the MCG. But bad luck. He deserves a week. Stupid. Shouldn't have done it. Bad luck. Cop the week. And he's not doing anything, Marlon Pickett, anyway, so you won't miss him. And I think the third suspension was the Lockie Plowman one for Carlton on the weekend on Jager O'Meara. I mean, the suspension, he copped 2 weeks. Probably fair. I mean, he might have not meant it, but Dangerfield got a week for something he probably didn't mean. So, I mean, that one's a bit 50-50 for me. But yeah, and Kyle Hardigan from the Hawks. Obviously, the footage shows that he done a pretty stupid hit on Sam Walsh. But, I mean, the suspension he probably deserved, the 3 weeks. But how they can go by fan footage, I think it was a Carlton Cheer Squad Facebook page or Twitter page that posted it, and apparently that's what the AFL may have used as some form of evidence. Probably questionable, but that's what they've done, so interesting there. But, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Now, that was the last comment for Scoops goes bang. Thank you very much. We're going to now go through some of the games from the weekend. I'm not going to go in full detail like normal, or like last week, but I'm going to go through some of the results for you and just briefly mention some games that were close, because there was some close games this week. I'm just getting the scores up in front of me. Pretty interesting results, some of the games, to be honest. Obviously, you had the game on Friday night at the Gabba. You had the Brisbane Lions defeating the Richmond 102-74. Great win for the Lions. People can say Richmond are missing a few, but Brisbane are missing a few as well. I mean, they're two top sides, and the Lions prevailing by 28 points was great. And the games on Saturday, we'll start off with the Hawks and the Blues. Carlton, 23-point winners over Hawthorn, 86-63. Not much to say. It was expected, but in typical Carlton fashion, they almost gave it up. We'll move on to Geelong, Gold Coast. Geelong started well. Gold Coast came back, and then Geelong bounced back in the end at 34-point winners, 91-57. The Crows and Melbourne. Now, this is a game I want to talk about. This is Adelaide 96 to the Demons 95. Adelaide by 1 point. Now, people can say probably could have used this in Scoops Host Bang, but I've left it for now. They say about the Nick Murray handball near Tommy Duday was deliberate. But there's a but. Charlie Spargo, there was Fox footage that showed that Charlie Spargo actually touched it. So, in theory, once a Melbourne player touched it, null and void, not deliberate. It was a deliberate act, but since Charlie Spargo touched it, it wasn't deliberate. So, Melbourne fans, you were 9-0, okay? Take the one loss. Yes, people could say if it was a St Kilda fan, I'd be annoyed. Yeah, I would. But after finding the footage of Charlie Spargo touching it, it's unfortunate, but it's unlucky. Yes, clearly Spargo wouldn't have touched it if it was going to go out, and probably give him a shot after game. And who's to say, whoever had the shot, whether it was Spargo or another Melbourne player, who's to say they were going to kick the goal or kick the point? Because it would have been after the siren in the end by the time he got rid of the ball, and he wouldn't have been able to snap around the corner, so he might not have even scored, whoever was going to have the shot, whether it was Spargo or someone else. So, irrelevant. Yes, okay, St Kilda and the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs 144 to St Kilda 5-3-33, 111-point victory to the Bulldogs. Now, you obviously guys want to know about it. Disappointing, embarrassing, a lot of words to describe it. No, it was not the umpire's fault we lost. The umpiring was terrible, as per usual, but that's not why we lost. We do have a lot of players here, but that's not why we lost. The 22 that performed were pathetic, okay? Jack Sinclair was probably one of the only few that done well, but it is what it is. Bulls had a big win. They got Melbourne this week to see how they go. Another great game on Saturday night was the Dockers and the Swans, 86-84, Freo by 2 points. That game was tossing and turning. I was looking at the scores from time to time, and it, was close. Then it was out by 3 goals, and Freo had their chance in the lead, and Swans had their chance in the lead. But now the Dockers did pretty well there in the end. Nat 5 hit in the last goal. This is the game on Sunday that I want to talk about. GWS 93 to the Eagles 77. What a great game. It just proves what I say about West Coast every single week. I said it last week. West Coast are flat track bullies, plain and simple. They lose away from home. For people telling me that West Coast have a good away record is rubbish. They have not won a game in the 5 attempts this year away from Perth. They're 5-0 in Perth, but away from Perth, they are pretenders. But there's an interesting comment I got from the Giants this morning when I read this about Shane Mumford. Now, obviously, Shane Mumford's been involved in a lot of suspensions from time to time, and I just thought, see if you guys can click as to what this means. The Giants can confirm Shane Mumford has been nominated for the 4-20 mark of the year. The club understands the incident took place late in the fourth quarter of the Giants win over West Coast. Subsequent testing has revealed Mumford recorded a personal best velocity during the event. GWS coach Leon Cameron expressed his shock at the event. When I saw the mark, I almost fell off my chair, literally, just like this chair I was about to. I spoke with Mumford post-game, and he told me he thought you won a 4-20 pie, and that was his incentive for the game. Not money, but a meat pie. Unfortunately for everyone associated with the Giants, he'll be talking about this mark for the next 10 years. The Giants will make no further comment at this time other than to encourage all Giants fans to get behind Mummy, because who wouldn't want to see this tremendous effort named Mark of the Year? Yes, Shane Mumford doesn't get up too often, but it was a great mark. And if people don't get that, it was in reference to normally when players get suspended, and Mumford's got a history of getting suspended a lot, that That's the type of comments you would make if someone was getting suspended. But yeah, Shane Mumford, great mark, Mummify. We'll move on now to the next game on the Sunday, which was Collingwood and Port Adelaide. Another close game, 1 point victory to the Power. Now, for people trying to tell me about, again, Brodie Grundy in the team of the week, he deserved his spot. He was best on ground for a reason. Over 20-odd possessions, over 30 hitouts, 2 goals. He was the best on ground. And Jordan Roughhead was fantastic as well, as was Dustin Moore. So for people, and Chris Mays, just for criticising that is pathetic. Yes, Robbie Gray was great, but they were the best players throughout the game, and Robbie Gray was good late. And the final game of the round was Essendon and North Melbourne. 141 Essendon to North Melbourne 69, 72 points. Plain and simple, Essendon were too good, and North Melbourne were pretty poor after their win last week. Now, I'm going to preview some of the games for round 11. The game on Friday night at Marble Stadium will be the Bulldogs and Melbourne. Be a close game. I'm probably going to go for the Bulldogs here, but Adam Treloar is out for 8 weeks with an ankle injury, so we'll see how they go there. Game on Saturday, we've got Geelong and Collingwood at the MCG. You know what? I'm going to tip Geelong, but Brodie Grundy will have a dominant game yet again, because he's going to be playing on either Reece Stanley or Asava Radicalio or Mark Blickstaff, so he'll have a great game there. The next game on Saturday at the Gabba is Brisbane and GWS. I'm going to go for the Lions, but GWS are in some good form as of late, so we'll see how they go. The Saints and North Melbourne, the twilight game at Marvel, 4:35. Saints should win and win pretty comfortably, despite the result last weekend. A few players out injured, but North have a few as well. Saturday night games, you got Gold Coast and Hawthorn in Darwin at TIO Stadium. I'm going to go for the Suns, and they should win pretty easily. The other night game is the Eagles and Essendon in Perth. The Eagles should be too good because they're at home. Sunday games, Richmond, Adelaide at the MCG. I'm actually going to go for Adelaide. They're in great form. If they can beat Melbourne, they can beat Richmond, who are missing a few and not playing to their best at the moment. So I'm going to go for the Crows in an upset here. The other games on Sunday, you got the Swans and the Blues. Sydney will smash them pretty easily. Sydney will show why they're a good side this year. And the final game for round 11 at the Adelaide Oval is Port Adelaide and the Dockers. I am going to go for the Power to win. Now, we've got some very important questions from you, the people. Thank you for everyone that sends them in. I only select a few to put on a show because we can't put on over 50 videos or audio messages. So we've got a few to play today, and here's the first one.
Hey Cooper, my name's Sam. First time caller, long time listener. Just wondering, is Dustin Martin in the top 100 players in the AFL? Love your work, mate. Keep it up. Thanks.
Well, Sam, appreciate you sending through your questions. And, of course, Dustin Martin's in the top 100 player in the AFL. Plain and simple. Obviously. Next question. Thank you.
Yeah, g'day, Coops. Rob here, a long-time fan of the page and really enjoyed episode 1. Just wondering, mate, what's your process for selecting your team of the week? Like, how do you go through each players and how do you evaluate if 2 guys have done really well, which one you sort of pick for the team? Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thanks, Rob. And a very well thought out question and a very good question to ask. I mean, like, okay, for a team of the week, so, for example, if you got, as I said last week, you've got 5 midfielders, sometimes you can include some on the half-forward line. Yeah, look, some players, it's hard to pick them in the team. Like, if you've got 12, 15 good midfielders, and now I'm assuming you could be partly hinting at Darcy Parish last week. Not this week just gone, because I did have him in, but the week before. I mean, it's a bit hard. I mean, he was good last week as well, but if you've got so many good performing midfielders, you can't fit them all in. It's just like key forwards and key defenders, you can't fit them all in. But yeah, fair enough, mate. Good, fair enough question. I understand it, but you can't fit them all in. I like to balance it out, sometimes having a lot more midfielders at half forward, but if there's so many good forwards, that minimises the amount of midfielders I'll put in. So therefore, that's why some mids miss out and some get in that people don't like. Next question.
Hello, Coops. The name's Harry, and I just had a question because I think all the ladies out there are wondering, are you single and ready to mingle, big man? Come on, get in there, shut.
Harry, I think your name was. No comment. I think, is that the final question we have? No, we got some more. Go to the next one.
Hey, Cooper. It's Riley here, and
Alira?
just wondering, mate, Do you believe that St Kilda, after 9 rounds, are better than the undefeated Melbourne Demons? And
Why so mean to Dusty?
cheers, mate.
Didn't catch that part about Dustin Martin, but as I alluded to before, he's in the top 100 clearly. He's a good player, so enough of that. But about Melbourne, of course Melbourne are performing better than St Kilda. The ladder shows that, but it is what it is. It's 10 rounds in. Obviously, they're on top of the ladder or second on the ladder for a reason, and St Kilda are where they are, but it is what it is. We'll go to the final one. Got 2 more, actually. We'll go to the next 2.
Hello, Coops. This is Wiggles here, mate. Just wanted to know, on current career form right now, would you still take Jack Billings over Marcus Bontempelli, even though the Bonds has won a premiership and 3 BNFs? Thanks, mate.
Well, thanks, Wiggles. Well, tough question, but I mean, fair enough that you mentioned the BNFs, that Bontempelli's won 3. But, you know, the premierships, I'm sick of people mentioning premierships for individuals. It's a team award. Just look at some examples of players that have won premierships. Mark Blake is a prime example off the top of my head I can think of for Geelong all them years ago. He won a premiership, and he wasn't a great player. He was a role player. He was a depth player, but he won a premiership. I mean, his team won the premiership, and he was just a part of the 22. So I don't subscribe to that part of it. Yes, 3 BNF does count, but if you have no competition, then that's a bit different. But no, they're both great players. Jack Billings is still in great form for the Saints. So, yeah. We can move on to the final question.
G'day, Coop. Nick Clark again. How do you like your eggs? I prefer mine scrambled.
A very interesting one, Nick, to end it on. And sorry to say, I've got no answer to that. I have no idea. They can have them scrambled, poached, whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. So we'll move on to the final thoughts. Obviously, guys, you can tell it's a bit wet here today, and it's very, very windy. So if the audio, as I said, was playing, I apologise for that. It's the best we can do in these conditions. Otherwise, we have no episodes. So appreciate everyone's support this week. And I'm going to mention it again. I said I was going to mention it again. If you want a video request from me, for you, a friend, whoever, from me on Cameo, go to cameo.com/CooperG. The base price is $25 US. It'll vary from time to time. Yes, I'll keep plugging it. People want to complain I keep plugging it. Well, I'll just keep plugging it. And that's for sure. Thanks, guys, for joining me on the very special second edition of Kick It to Scoops. Until next week, I'm going to give you a little teaser. I have this very special guest next week on the show, and it's big. It's very, very big. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. All the best, guys, and until next time, take care and go Saints!